Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October 11th, 2022 iteration of the Kubernetes SIG-Windows community meeting. As always, these meetings are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so be sure to adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct. Let's start with some announcements. First announcement is we're past enhancement freeze that was last Thursday. So the next major milestone for the 126 release is code freeze, and that is Tuesday, November 8th. I believe that time is in PDT. The exact times or deadlines for each time zone are on the release schedule, but we're still a ways out from that, so not to worry about that. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to announce? Feel free to add it to the announcements or speak up if you want. Not, we can check to see if there's any new contributors who would like to introduce themselves here. As always, we usually give a little bit of space if there's anybody who's new to the project who wants to say hi or share what they would like to get out of the community meetings. So if you would like to do that, please feel free to say hi and introduce yourself. Okay, I don't see anybody volunteering with that. I didn't see a whole lot in the agenda today since we just entered exited the enhancement freeze. I did take a few minutes to list out some of the work that people are prioritizing for this release. We can go over that if there's no other agenda items that people want to discuss, see if we can find more owners or kind of collaborate more with that. So if anybody has anything else they'd like to discuss, feel free to do so, or just interrupt me. I will also say that the fix for the Q proxy regressions that we discussed in depth last week have been merged into the 124 and 125 release branches. So I think the patch releases for those are coming out soon. So we will, once those patch releases are coming out, I'll work with David to probably send out notes to the SIG-Windows mailing list, and we'll highlight it in the Slack again that people definitely want to pick up those changes. That's the issue. We're fixing this issue here. Okay. So for the enhancements that are being worked on in 126, and I didn't include the operational readiness enhancement, folks, because that's tracked out of tree. But the ones that we're hopefully making progress on for 126 is the node service log viewer, hopefully going to alpha. Arvind, do you have anything you'd like to comment on that?
Yeah, so I'm now going to start reaching out to Tim Hawken on Slack now that I wanted to give him because he had sent out a tweet saying he's really busy with the KEPs, so I didn't want to ping him while he's reviewing KEPs to review code. Now that like 5 days are passed, I'm going to ping him on Slack and not on the VR and ask both him and Jordan. And Fabian, I'll add you to that group so that we can just talk about stuff there. And hopefully Tim will have some time to review.
Okay, let me know if you would like me to ping them too, pester them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we've got the tests and everything there too, so hopefully that's gonna be more easier to get that merge.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, next one is for the host process containers. We should be targeting stable for this release. We talked about that before. Host network support for Windows, that's something that hopefully we can go to alpha with. The changes in Kubernetes are pretty minimal. There's more changes that are needed in containerd or the container runtimes for that too. That's all kind of described in the KEP. And I think for this one, there is somebody from SIG Networking was commenting and saying there's already a lot of test coverage for this in the ED tests. So hopefully we just need to enable some. Hopefully we'll be able to take some of those Linux only tests and switch them over to run on Windows. Last one that I have here is the CRI based stats. The amendments for Windows, the Windows support for this merged kind of late before enhancement freeze, and I believe James has an open PR in container D and in the kubelet to wire that up on both ways. So that I think is probably just needs some reviews at this point, and then that should be good to go.
Yeah, I need to refresh those before we put reviews on them. It's on my list to do later in the week.
Yeah. I don't think that's urgent, but it'd be good to do early. Does anybody else, is there any other KEPs that are probably not tracked by SIG-Windows, but have Windows related work that people would like to either discuss or track here? How's the KPNG KEP going, Jay?
So we're gonna now so Stoichkos is gonna sort of bring it up at SIG-Windows this week. We're done
today?
updating it, and it's just mostly just, you know, not really. It's mostly formalized now to the point that like it will be proposed to SIG-Windows, and like, I mean, for the most part, I feel like V0 mission accomplished. Like, we've demonstrated that we can redo the kube proxy and it works on all platforms using this model. And I think one of two things will happen. It will be the catalyst for them to say, okay, here's what the new kube proxy should be. Go build that. Like, or it'll actually be like, yeah, let's do this. This is good. Just, you know what I mean? It'll be one of those two things, I think. So in most ways, I feel like what we wanted to do has sort of been done now, which is sort of demonstrate that you could redo all this in a completely new way. And, hopefully people will be sort of okay with it, you know?
You said SIG-Windows, did you mean SIG Network?
I meant SIG Network, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're not going to fight with me about it.
I was like, at this meeting.
Like, I don't care. Yeah, no, it's the SIG Network people that need to make a decision. So
Okay.
yeah.
I will probably try and join the SIG Network meeting this week.
Okay. Yeah.
Too. Oh yeah, keep us updated. I don't
Yeah,
think...
and so like from there, I think I would like it to be at that point to be driven by a group of people who, like a new group of people, so that it's not like, you know, so I don't become some benevolent dictator or something like that. You know, like I don't want to be in that situation. And so I'm hoping that once it's approved, it'll be driven by other people. But if folks want, I'm totally, if nobody else wants to, then I think we can keep driving it too. So we'll see. But yeah, fingers crossed. I think there's a reasonable chance that people will be willing to move forward with it or something very similar to it.
Just out of curiosity, like if people do decide to move forward with it, like what does that look like? Because it's not in, is it going to be another out of tree KEP? Like, is there still going to be a KEP, but it's not going to be tracked with the releases?
The way we're proposing it in the KEP is that every backend will be a separate repository, and that will be federated together the way we do with staging now, and something like that. And then that there will be like a KPNG core proxy for the server brain thing, and and then like, and so we can still give people a single binary, and that single binary will be something that federates the code from all those repositories and compiles, that looks and feels and runs the same as regular kube proxy goes. But it's just a decomposition of those other things, or I'm sorry, an aggregation of those other things.
Awesome. And then you can pick out the different modes. Or
yeah, exactly. And then if in that future, the way it would work is SIG-Windows, we could just own our own kube proxy. And well, there's a whole nother future, which is that if we at SIG-Windows decide that it's really what we want to do, we could literally we could make kube proxy. We could get on a call with David or something and say like, hey, do we want to just have our own service proxy? And the one that's in tree, you know, like if other folks want to maintain it, they can, but the best thing for Windows would be to have our own proxy that we maintain, right? Because I mean, that's something we could talk about, because I don't see the point. Like if we can do a better job maintaining our own proxy, and that's what everybody else is doing now, maintaining their own proxies, and there's not a pluggable way to do it in core, we could just have our own proxy. Like no, there's no law that prevents us from doing that, right? So that's another possible conversation.
Or if the BFP stuff pans out, we could just have scrap
Yeah.
the Windows Q proxy too.
Yeah, we could just have a futuristic Windows proxy that's just a single thing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the updates. I will definitely join this. It's Thursday,
Okay,
right?
cool. Yeah. Yeah, Stoicus is going to be the one that sort of brings it up and asks folks to look at it. So yeah. I never go to the SIG network meetings now because they're in the middle of the day and I have meetings all day during those though. So, I may or may not be there.
All right. Some of the other work that I know is kind of ongoing and long-lived, and this is definitely not an exhaustive list. This just what came across, like, hopped on my mind. The unit tests running for Windows, there's a lot of open PRs that are all tracked on our project board that Claudio's done most of those. I think we do want to try and get those merged. So if anybody has, bandwidth to test them out, review them, yep, they're all tracked right here under, they all have unit tests in there. Give some reviews, that would be appreciated. I think most of these are touching multiple parts of the code base and have some initial reviews and are just either waiting for the rest of everybody who needs to approve, have them be merged. Is there anything you'd like to mention on that, Claudio?
Not really. You covered pretty much everything. The thing is that the longer we wait for those to merge, more failures are gonna appear. So when I first proposed all those pull requests, I think the number of failing tests was reduced from something like 300 failing tests to something like 2 or 3, which were flaky. And I saw recently that a few new failures appeared. We do random, I think we still do. And yeah, and you can see it in test grid as well. It should be
Yeah, I think it's under SIG-Windows.
I'm gonna ping Zing on this 110601. We should just merge that. There's nothing that's gonna break. You just replace the file path.
yeah, it should be in SIG Windows Signal, Windows Unit Master. I'm gonna link that in chat as well.
It should be under SIG-Windows. Oh, where's my test grid? SIG-Windows. You said SIG-Windows Master?
SIG Windows Signal. And the last one is the SIG Unit Master.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of green, but there's still red. And it sounds like people are updating the unit tests and adding more. So we just want to make sure that those are failing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, if anybody's interested, that could be, I think, a big step forward to be able to get this green and then turn this on to run on all of the PRs to make sure new regressions don't come. I think a lot of folks in Windows and not in Windows would be happy to see that. The other PRs were, I think, Claudio helped link them, the Windows file system permission PRs. Those have been open for probably, 18 months now. At least one of them is. It'd be good to try and get that merged.
Yeah, something like that.
We that one's only July
basically,
1st.
yeah, we reduced the pull request itself. We no longer import an external library to use, and we just use some Windows APIs directly to set and read the permissions. And the second pull request should be a pull request which consumes those new functions that were introduced. But yeah, basically, with this, we will start to set file permissions for any volumes which are being set. Basically, for volumes, you can also have item mode set or stuff like that, which we were ignoring before because we didn't support this on Windows. and that's going to be supported from now. The pull request also adds some unit tests, which verifies that indeed the file permissions work as intended on Windows. So, you know, extra guarantees.
I think, yeah, this one, Jay, we need somebody from storage to approve this one too.
Yeah, 104660. Let's okay. I'll troll Zing.
Are they at VMware?
Yeah,
Okay, I've seen them on a lot of doing a lot of SIG storage stuff. I wasn't sure.
yeah, there
Yeah.
are SIG storage people. There are. They're still here.
Okay.
660. Hold on, 104.
Yeah, if you could help get some attention from the storage folks for some, like especially this one and some of the unit tests, that'd be really.
Can we go over the list now? 1010601, 104660. What else?
Probably a lot. Let's see.
Just give them to me. I'll just literally put them in. Or,
I think
oh,
anything.
I can go in there. Okay, I'll do it in there.
You can
Never
go in
mind.
here and filter for anything that
I
we
got
send to people. I think, and so I guess if there's anything else that needs storage permissions, Claudio or anybody else, forward them to Jay.
Cool. Yeah, I'm open. I'm in there. I'll get all the storage ones to done.
Okay, sounds good. And then there are some other open PRs, as always. Feel free to. Some of them are kind of stalled, but feel free to comment, review any of the PRs. Anybody? That's really all I had on the agenda today. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss? If not, we could end a little bit early.
One minor thing I forgot to mention regarding the file permissions work. There's another pull request which I have, which will also enable E2E tests, which verify those file permissions being set properly. There are some Linux only tagged tests, which were tagged with Linux only simply because we were not supporting file permissions, right? But if we do merge this one, I do have another pull request which we should be able to run afterwards, which is this one. Linked in chat. We should be named something like enables file permissions related tests on Windows. I think that's the one.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So basically, we're also expanding the E2E test, conformance E2E test that we're running.
Now, hopefully, that doesn't take many releases to move to update the conformance test.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. There was a small issue in the agnostic image, which was not reading the file permissions properly. Now, basically, how those volumes work, they're basically symlinks, how they're made, and the agnos binary was actually reading the symlinks file permissions, not the target's file permissions, which was returning false results because of that. But now an update was sent to the diagnosed image. It was published a long time ago, so everything should run properly. I think we can even run the Windows E2E job on this one. I think it already ran already on this pull request.
Awesome. That'd be great. Yeah, that I've seen that problem other places where they're not getting they're not following the sibling target to do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like we've ran it yet.
Should have
Maybe.
probably had it in another pull request.
Yeah, and split it out. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be helpful. Is this in the milestone? Yes.
Yeah, I think it was I ran the I ran the Windows job on the original pull request, which had all of the commits there, because we still need that that pull request to merge first. So this will pass. So it won't pass without that one.
Yeah.
But we did run it before.
Great.
That's all.
Yep. That's all I've got. If people wanted to stay around, chat. I'm probably gonna head to Signode pretty soon. All right, let me end the recording then. Thanks, everybody.